of At the Wicket on BIFF Cricket, where today's episode we will be bringing you the pulse of the T20 World Cup. We will unpack the drama, the excitement, and the unforgettable moments that define the spirit of cricket and the spirit of this World Cup so far. We're joined, I'm your host, Cavalli Arnold, and we are joined here with cricket analyst Joseph Reds Perriera. Welcome, Reds.
Welcome back, and nice that we are focusing on a very important day, Afghan versus New Zealand, and a very sad day for Pakistan yesterday.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Pakistan. That's one of the topics that we will touch on. There are quite a number of things happening in the world of cricket. When we look at what's happening in New York with that pitch, when we look at what's happening with, we must touch on that the allegations of Rusty Turan's ball tampering thing, Pakistan, and we will touch on a little bit of West Indies preview going into that game tomorrow, and also maybe one of the big games for the weekend, the marquee game, that India-Pakistan game. But we will start with that US Pakistan game, and that safe to say, the first upset of the tournament, a massive upset in this tournament.
Well, it takes us right back to 2007 when Ireland beat Pakistan in Jamaica. And just to add to that, Bangladesh beat India in Trinidad. And two favorites. And also, going out also had an impact on the many fans who then turned away, who canceled, sold their tickets, and instead of Guyana benefiting from an India or Pakistan, they ended up with Ireland and Bangladesh. So it's a worrying time for the attendance, and here's hoping that somehow the other Pakistan can bounce back and beat India, which is a very tall order. Not on the basis how they played.
Yeah, it is a tall order. But if we should look at the result yesterday, I don't think I would describe it as an upset, yes, but not surprising in the sense that building up to the start of Pakistan's tournament, I was one saying, I think, hold on, please bear with me. Yeah, sorry about that. I was saying I was one that was always looking at the fact that Pakistan is a fragile team, with all the infractions, and they just don't look like a unit. And it certainly played out yesterday. They just didn't look like a unit on the field. So was it a surprise given the way they've been leading into the tournament? Yes, it is a big upset, massive upset. But they just haven't looked good going into the tournament.
Well, they didn't have the best warm-up in England because the weather really played a nasty role. They had invested in a warm-up against England, and that didn't work so well. It wasn't a good day at the office for Pakistan. I mean, even if you're playing one of the not fanciest team, you can't get under 160. As one of the rated teams, you got to be touching 180, 190, which would have maybe put that beyond the ambitions of the USA. But the USA had given firm notice that they had some batting depth. And Pakistan, I think, were fully aware. They probably would have watched that. They probably would have reviewed it, look at the various batting order. But I don't think that it seemed to be just an off day. Nothing seemed to have worked. And I found that surprisingly, they did not open with the captain and Rizwan. They have been tearing aside teams over the last year. I thought that was a mistake. They should have had their best attacking pair at the top.
Um, when you look at that team, they open with Rizwan and Baba, but at the same time, I think that's wrong. I think I would go with a Fakar Zaman at the top of the order, or Ayub, bringing in Ayub, which I think might be the change coming in might be a possible change coming in for the next game. Maybe Azam Khan making way for likes of Ayub and Baba Azam going down to 3, where he maybe stabilize a little bit more, but he can get off to some sort of start. Um, it is a team that I hope will get things right for Sunday. Um, because while not wanting to dwell too much on Pakistan, we'll touch a little bit more on it when we look at previewing the game in greater depth for Sunday. But let's look at US. We have huge praise for US and commendations for the way they went out and played that game. Just fearless cricket, I would say. Not giving any, despite the name of a Pakistan, just going out there and say, look, we are a good team, and we could see that confidence oozing out of US team going into the game.
Well, when I refer to the opening pair, I was really talking about the super over. I wasn't
Oh,
talking at the start of the game. At the super over, you had to use your most experienced, your best attacking players. And to me, it was an error not to have opened with the captain and Rizwan. I was a little surprised also that the super over combination that the US used, I was expecting someone else to be part of that opening pair. I don't know what's your thoughts.
yeah. I think they looked at form, and I must commend the management team and maybe the captain, the coaching staff and captain of the US team, because I think they looked at form and not necessarily the names. Because if you should maybe look at the name, you would say Corey Anderson should play a bigger role, but an experience. But they went with form, and they also maybe looked at matchups as well. Because if you look even at in the bowling department, you would expect Ali Khan to get the ball, but to put in Netravalkar, they gave Netravalkar the ball. It's just form. They look at form and they say, look, what I think will work best in these conditions and who is in form that will deliver for us. And that's what they did. And I can commend them for that.
Yes, very good choice. Very good choice. I was amazed at the outstanding scholastic background of the ball. Also, I mean, you talk about cricket intelligence. He is
Yeah.
cricket intelligence plus. He could be a lecturer, not a cricketer.
Yeah. Yeah, and I must commend the coach as well, Stuart Law, who's working behind the scenes with this team and getting the team to be playing their best cricket and just so confident. We spoke to Aaron Jones prior to the game in that exclusive interview on Biff Cricket, and he you could just in his the way answers question, the way he spoke, and he was so confident. He also said, "We are not looking at the names, we are going out there to play our brand of cricket." When I asked him about the names that we were coming up against, and we're talking about the likes of Nazim Shah, Shaheen Safridi, Harris Rolfe, these are marquee player. Mohamed Amir, so experienced. And as I mentioned Mohamed Amir, I must say I was disappointed in the way Mohamed Amir bowled that super over. All the experience of Mohamed Amir, and he just looked the shadow of himself. So I think that he left, well, Pakistan on a whole left a lot to be desired in their approach to the game, the body language and all.
I was surprised that they gave him the task of bowling in the Super Over. I mean, his form over the year um, not been all that impressive, and they had to go for experience. I don't know if they should have gone for Harris. Um, they really, and of course, You had Freedy,
Yeah.
who's got a depth of experience, a very confident person. He's had much more success than Amir. One of the things going back to the Pakistan attack is the deterioration in form and success of their leg spinner, Shabbat. Um, he looks a shadow of himself.
Yeah.
What's your thought about their fancy leg spinner of 2 years ago?
Yeah, I personally think Shadab Khan should not be playing. But in taking Shadab Khan out the team, you need Imad Wazim to come back into the team for the balance of the team. And that side strain that I think Imad Wazim picked up, really putting them in a position, because I like Abar, that leg spinner that they have there. I think he's in better form with the ball. Yes, Shadab Khan can bat, but he's not giving you anything with the ball. And in these conditions, you need somebody who will be a wicket taking option. So I think if they get Imad Wazim back, I doubt he will be back for the game on Sunday, because a side strain, you don't recover from that so quickly. But I am not, I'm not impressed with the form of Shadab Khan with the ball. He's doing a good job with the bat, but he's not there. I don't think they should be looking at him as a batter. You have the likes of Iftikhar and so on in that middle order. I think it's fine. You need someone that will be a 4 over bank for you with the ball, especially in the absence of Imad Wazim.
Yeah, good point. Imran is a big loss. Imran is a big loss, and they must be trying to get him fit for the game against India. Now, India, what do they do if they win the toss? Do they bowl or do they bat? I mean, confidence is a very important thing. They have got to work out what's the best thing to do. If they win the toss, let India bat and then chase after.
On that pitch, I'll take a crack at with the ball any day and twice on Sunday, and it will be a Sunday. So I expect them to do so.
Well, that New York pitch is turning out to be a bit of a disappointment. I mean, some of the pitches in the Caribbean has been slow. Guyana has been slow. Trinidad is expected to be slow. I'm not too sure what's going to be the situation with the pitch in St. Lucia. It's been newly laid as the rest of them. Ken Crafton has produced the best pitch in the Caribbean up to when, of course, he put the fork in and started to relay. Now, how is it going to play? I really don't know. But the New York pitch is really under the microscope. There's so much being said. I mean, some people have gone as far as saying it's dangerous.
Yeah, I believe it is. And when we look at that pitch, and if and a lot of people don't know all the intricacies of pitch, and I'm no pitch expert here, but I'm saying that when you lay a pitch, these drop-in pitches, they take like 6 months or so to get worked in or to settle down, as the term they others use. The curator from Adelaide, he's a brilliant curator, one of the best in the world. So I don't think it's anything to do with him making a bad pitch. I think when you have these drop-in pitches, you need to give it time to settle down. And with the weather in New York, a bit different from some of the likes of Australia and so on, you might get it wrong. So you needed some time to get settled. Remember, it was just the start of May. They moved the pitch from Florida, where they had it, and went in and dropped in this pitch a few weeks ago. The pitch is not settled, and because of that, it's just this uneven bounce and all that. I saw Richard Pant had to wear 2 balls on the body. That one under his rib, and I think one. So when you look at it, Roy Sharma had to go off. Had to retire or hurt. I don't think it is a major injury, but I'm just saying it doesn't look good, and we could see that from the first game on last Monday, where we had Sri Lanka, South Africa. I think it was Monday. Sri Lanka, South Africa. That game, when you saw Henrik Nokia 150 plus bowling on that pitch, you know what you were going to get. And if we should look at what is to come for Sunday, you're looking at Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj. You're talking about aggressive bowlers here, and you're looking at those 4 quicks from Pakistan. You know what Shaheen Shafridi, Nazim Shine Shafridi, and we look at Harris Wolf with all his pace, right? I think it's borderline dangerous. I The ICC has come out and said they are looking to pull out all the stops to get the pitch to be in better condition for Sunday or going forward in the tournament. But let's all face it, they want it to be in better condition for Sunday. This is a big match, a marquee match, and all eyes will be on this match. They want it to be a spectacle. They don't want it to leave eggs in their faces.
Well, I first saw dropping pitches in 1978 when I was happily invited to do the Kerry Packer second series, and the pitches worked perfectly. I mean, one must again give the um, people behind that idea of dropping pitches, because in some cases we did not have the traditional cricket ground. We didn't have the MCG. We didn't have the Adelaide Oval. So they had to use Australian football rules ground, and they worked very well. Now, I don't know what the Adelaide groundsman could do. One of the things he might do is, in fact, add a lot of moisture and try and at least slow it down. Try and slow it down. We just want to see what's going to happen between now and Sunday. Can they make any adjustments? Can they make any adjustments?
Yeah, I think they are trying to cut the grass on the pitch as low as possible and roll the grass into the pitch. I don't know if it's too early to do that, too late to do that, because if you have a game in 2 days' time, to roll the grass into it, you need a little bit of moisture to get it into the surface. Can you add moisture to that pitch? That will maybe make it even more dangerous if it doesn't dry out in time, because with the weather around, I don't know what the weather is like in New York, but even in the Caribbean, and we saw some rains last weekend, you don't want to take that risk. So it's interesting to see what will happen. They have to try and do a lot to get this pitch ready. I don't know if the Nassau County International Cricket Stadium was ready for a tournament of this magnitude. I think it was a bit rushed, and we're seeing it now. But I hope they can get it right for Sunday.
Was it an error to bring it to New York? If they had gone, maybe where they might have had a less attendance, but better batting, better cricket conditions. Was there an error?
I don't think it was an error. I don't think the error was in the venue in putting those sort of games in New York. I think the error is certainly in not, you know, that this World Cup was going to be in the US, and you would have worked out the logistics and say, all right, we would have more fans in New York and all of that. But what they should have done was build these stadiums and have them finish um finish at least by January or so. Coming into fall into their spring, the pitches should be ready at the start of spring, and they start having cricket played on it so you can know what the surface is like. It should not be a case where you're moving the pitch from Florida to New York in just like 3 weeks prior to the start of the World Cup. So that's where I think the error was, and they could have done better on that. But another thing I want to touch on is that allegation of ball tampering as well, by Rusty Tehran.
Well, it's not new. It is not new. I mean, I went to Pakistan along with the late Tony Kosher too, on the West Indies tour. Um, Desmond Haynes was the captain. And when the West Indies team arrived, there was a letter to Lance Gibbs, the manager.
Hmm.
I think also addressed to the captain Desmond Haynes. And the manager of the New Zealand team, who were beaten very badly, simply said, watch the ball. Watch
Hmm.
the ball. Basically, it says, keep your eyes on the ball all the time. Um, there was a feeling, as suggested by a couple of writers already, that the one side of the ball is in fact allegedly doctored with the nails. Now, this has not been really a proven allegation,
Yeah.
unless you have the cameras showing this. Um, you know, you can't really accuse a side
Of doing
of
such a
doing
thing.
this.
Yeah.
But I mean, in Pakistan, I mean, Wakar and company swung that ball big time.
Yeah.
In the second test, that ball was hitting Greenwich and Haynes on the pads regularly. I mean, serious swing, big dipping Yorkers, you know.
Mm.
But you know, the eyes will be on the bowlers when the ballers are in their hands. But to be fair to Pakistan, their cricketers, their board, this is an allegation,
Mm.
and
It's an allegation.
unless you have some real information, you know,
Yeah.
it's been
Let,
said.
let me let's for the viewers who would not have seen Rusty Turan's post. He said at the ICC, are we just going to pretend Pakistan aren't scratching the hell out of the freshly changed ball, reversing the ball that just been changed 2 overs ago? You can literally see Harris Rowe rubbing his thumbnail over the ball at the top of his mark. As you said, Reds, these are just allegations that we yeah, no proof has come out yet. But I'm also concerned. I was also concerned, just seeing that the reverse swing, because remember at the end of when the ball changed, I think US was 96 for one. I think the score was. Don't quote me on that. But then, and they were cruising. You were looking at maybe the end of what, the 12th over or something like that. And then when you look at the way Pakistan came back into the game, with that ball started reverse swinging, and these white balls don't swing so well. So for this ball to be reverse swinging, I was concerned as well. I was saying, what's happening with this ball? I think that the umpires made a blunder. That's what I was thinking, in choosing a ball that was not appropriate in terms of overs old, right? But with these allegations now, it makes you start scratching your head and wondering, was there something in that? Because the ball just started doing a lot.
I don't believe that all the U.S. dismissals was to be big swinging deliveries. I mean, the South African now transferred to the USA. He seemed to have misjudged the line totally and got bowled off stump.
Yeah, and we're joined now by Lawrence Rowe. Yaga Rowe, welcome. I don't know if he's hearing us. I guess Lawrence, you hearing us? All right. So as soon as he's set up and ready to go, we'll bring him in, Reds. But those, I'm hoping that we can have some sort of evidence, if it is so. If not, no. If it is so, because I don't like these allegations and there's nothing to back it up. What happened with
there's a match referee. I mean, you know, he's got to do his job. And,
yeah.
Of course, these things tend to come out after the tournament is finished.
Yeah, I think they blundered. I think they blundered. In my estimation, I think they just pick up a ball, didn't realize that this ball was maybe a little bit older than it should be, and then Pakistan realized that, oh, this ball is talking, so let's whisper at the ball, because the Pakistani bowlers are very skillful. They're brought upon in these conditions where swinging, you know, as you said, the Wakar, the Wazim Akrams, and all of those guys. And so these bowlers, when you look at Mohamed Amir, he's brought upon on these type of things, and they learn how to bowl those swinging deliveries. So I think that's what happened. I'm hoping there was no ball tampering, because we don't want another scandal like that, because just some years ago. I think almost a decade ago now. That ball tampering sandpaper gate with Australia that didn't do cricket any justice. So I'm hoping that a big marquee tournament like this, we have no issues of ball tampering or any sort of cheating at all.
Just before you close, as far as I know, the boxer balls should have a number of overs bowled on it. It's not just choosing a ball, it's choosing a ball which matches the number of overs that the ball you are taking away. So, that should be the overriding choice.
Yeah. I hope it's just a blunder and we can say, well, it was a blunder. And the good thing about it, the US went on to win the game despite they having it became tighter than it looked at one point. They went on to win the game. So what they say, no harm, no foul. I think it's that expression. So I'm happy that they went on to win the game. So it would take away.
I think you got Lawrence George with you.
Come again. Reds. You broke up. I didn't get that clearly. Come again.
I think I'm seeing Lawrence George appearing soon.
Yeah. Lawrence Rowe here, but I'm not hearing him. I'm seeing him, not hearing him. We'll get that sorted. But let us just take a quick look at the West Indies match against Uganda for tomorrow. We also have and we also have the England Australia game. But
I think it might be better to look at tonight's game first, New Zealand Afghanistan.
Interesting game, yeah.
But the big thing is what would be the lineup? I mean, the Providence pitch is taking spin. It's on the slow side. You've got to be very patient with your shot selection and your footwork. The big question is, what will be the lineup for New Zealand? They've got two spinners, the left arm spinner and Santner. They've got their leg spinner. I think that they're going to play both of them, but they will also include three of their quicks. Don't be surprised if Afghan play four spinners.
Yeah, I think Afghan will go four spinners, and I think New Zealand might end up with four spinners too, because let's not forget they have two part-time spinners that in these conditions might be very handy in Glenn Phillips and Rachin Ravindra. I think they might just end up with four spinners because the conditions will aid them, and if the condition is aiding, then they might just play three quicks and hope that maybe Daryl Mitchell can give them something. So you might be looking at, and I think I like this New Zealand side in terms of the balance of the team, because having Rachin Ravindra and Glenn Phillips, it gives them a lot with the ball. Good six bowling option or seventh bowling option if needs be. So it is balanced, and we might see that because of the conditions. But I definitely looking for
that. Glenn Phillips is really almost a freak. When we first saw him playing,
complete cricketer.
When we first saw him playing for the Jamaican Callaway, he's a wicketkeeper and a hard-hitting batsman. He had all sorts of trouble with his knee. He got that sorted out. He's used to bowl medium pace, and he's turned himself into a very good off spinner.
Yeah.
And sometimes he is brought on by the New Zealand captain before the front line off spinner in the side. So really, congratulations to him.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. He's a complete cricketer. When you look at he can open the bowling. I've seen him done that. He can bowl in the middle. He can open the batting. He can bat in the middle. He can be a finisher if needs be. He can wicket keep. He's a gun fielder. I don't know if there's a more complete cricketer in world cricket than Glenn Phillips.
I doubt it, really and truly. I mean, he's a man of all parts, a man of all seasons.
Yes, and when we look at the composition of that New Zealand team, we expect them to put all these pieces together and do well. But Afghanistan, we are looking at the possibility of four spinners. This is a team that relished the opportunity of playing on in these sort of conditions. If we know the guy on a pitch will take some spin, and if it takes spin, we're looking at Noor Ahmed coming into that lineup, who didn't play in that first game.
Yeah, sure. It should bring the biggest crowd to Providence. I mean, it's a quality game. It's like New Zealand and Afghan in Trinidad, or New Zealand and West Indies in Trinidad. It's really gonna be a spectacle to be watched by millions all over the world, including the various oppositions playing in the Caribbean.
Yeah, and because of how the composition of the group, I think we have to say, all right, this is a big game, because if the West Indies is coming up tomorrow, they will be looking to take those 2 points. But when you look at the way the composition of the group, 2 will get out, and we're looking at Afghanistan, New Zealand, West Indies, the 3 teams more than likely will be gunning for two of those spots.
Yeah, it's crucial. You've got to finish in the top 2, or else cat eat your dinner.
Yeah. Lawrence, I don't know if let's hear you. We're hearing it seems Lawrence is hearing us, but I'm not hearing him. I don't know if you're hearing him, Reg.
No, I'm not hearing Lawrence. He's normally a gentleman speaker. He's a very soft-spoken J boy, but maybe having some technical problems, as they say.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. We really want to get Lawrence Rowe in on this as we move to previewing that West Indies game. West Indies against Uganda.
Yeah.
West Indies labored in beating Papua New Guinea, but they would want to get things right and try and have a commanding win over Uganda, especially if it comes down to net run rate later on.
Well, our net run rate was shattered. Efforts against Papua New Guinea. I think we really missed out there, because ideally, you want to bat and get 260, then bowl up the opposition, who is not highly rated, for 105. That didn't quite happen. We used up 19 overs to get 138, 139, and that didn't help us at all.
No, it didn't. So I suppose they'll be looking to get things right. Do you see maybe any changes for the West Indies going into this Uganda game?
I suggested in another discussion I was on that they should be shaping the side in a sense that they will play against New Zealand and Trinidad. They should be shaping the side through the upcoming game against Uganda. I think they need to bring in some pace. I would have had Sharma Joseph and McCoy in. I would have Hope in. I would not be playing Johnson Charles. And they've got to bite the bullet. And they may have to leave out maybe Shepherd, or they might leave out both Shepherd and Azari Joseph. You've got to make these hard decisions. Joseph has not been hitting his straps over the last year. He's been very expensive. Shepherd has been very expensive, although he has the ability to come and hit 30 off 8 balls, They've got to make that kind of decision.
I don't think they'll be leaving out Shepherd. I don't know if they'll make a lot of changes, because it wouldn't maybe look good for what you're trying to do. It would maybe shatter some sort of confidence. But I mean, I think they might need a change or two. And I think Johnson Charles at the top there, he can be hit or miss. I like Shea Hope. He's more a technical player. I would like to see Shea Hope there. And as you said, in the bowling department, one change would do. I don't know where that change would be, but I think there needs a little bit of shaking up in that bowling department.
Well, Sharma Joseph bowls real quick. I mean, how many Afghans have faced bowlers at 150 clicks? So that's the man they certainly need to get in to really run and blow away the top order. I mean, he's only got 4 overs, so he can certainly invest in the first 2.
Yeah, and I don't know if Lawrence Rowe is ready, but when we look at Fazalak Faruqi coming in, starting with that new ball, I think that Johnson Charles might be a hit or miss, and I think that's where we need the likes of Shehope, because we know what Fazalak Faruqi will bring with the new ball and Mujibur Rahman. Lawrence, are you hearing us?
I'm hearing you guys.
Oh, and we are hearing you quite clearly now.
Oh, you heard me now. Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa. That's good. Hey, Red, how you doing, man? Long time.
Long time, Lawrence. Long time.
Yes.
Whenever I think of you, I think of Melbourne and your great 100 against Australia in the World Series.
Whoa. That's 175, huh?
Yeah. Superb, really superb.
Yes.
I mean,
That's
I
what-
often talk about that thing to many audience, you know.
Yeah,
It's
it's
one
good.
of the best knocks I've seen.
Yeah, memorable knock from you, Lawrence Rowe. But we were just looking at if there are possible changes for West Indies in that game, Lawrence Rowe. What's your take on that?
I didn't think I saw a little clip with Reds to what he was saying. I didn't think they played well in that game. They won, which a win is a win. But they have to step it up. I find that they seem very impatient in getting a modest total. So you didn't have to, do too much. Because in the 2020 game these days, you can get so much in the last 5 overs when people are in. So these wickets, some of the wickets, especially in New York, I notice it's doing quite a bit. And when the wicket is doing something, you have to change your strategy, I think. You just can't. Although in the power play, that is where things you try to get going. Most teams try to get off to a good start because of the power play, because of the field.
Yeah.
That can get up and back. But yeah, everybody try to go hard. If the wicket is doing something, you need to readjust yourself. And I think this is where West Indies is going wrong so far. We seem not to be able to adjust within the game quick enough to do it. And against the bigger teams, we will have to do that if we are going to go forward.
Yeah. And what's your prediction for this game on tomorrow, West Indies against Uganda? How do you see it panning out?
Really, I mean, we should, and we have to, because this group is tricky in that we have West Indies, New Zealand, and Afghanistan in the group, and it's only 2 going to move forward. So we have to take care of the 2 winners that we're Afghanistan going to be tough, and New Zealand is going to be tough. So we have to win one out of those 2 games at least to be up there in the next round.
Yeah. Well said. As we look to close, we have to look at the India-Pakistan game for Sunday. Just quickly, give me your take on India-Pakistan. We'll start with you, Reds, and then we'll go to the Yaga.
Well, the Pakistan confidence team, they have been rocked. I mean, you are looking for a good win against the USA as you are about to spin the toss against India. Well, that didn't happen. Even when they have played well, beating India is difficult because there's such a star-studded side, Great batting, great bowling. They got tremendous pace on that New York pitch. Unless it changes, they're going to be a handful. Pakistan just have to have a very good day. They have to get it right with their bowling, have to get it right with the batting. As I said to you, what do they do if they win the toss? Do they bat or do they bowl? I don't know what Yaga feels.
Yeah.
I think
Lawrence?
I think in that game, anybody win the toss is going to be fielding first. That is what is happening in New York. Yeah, you definitely have to put them into bat and try to, because that wicket is doing quite a bit. Pakistan would be rocked with losing to the US. But just to recap a little bit on that US game, is that everything happened right for the US in that game, in that they won the toss. They did a little, when the US did that is no thing. Pakistan was really the better team. And the US got the better of the condition to work with. So that is no thing. So Pakistan should have really came out victor, but the US team played exceptionally well. The guys played exceptionally well. I was a little bit disappointed with the man of the match. I thought Jones should have got the man of the match again because of his heroics. He brought us into the last over, the final over. And then in the final over, he made all the runs to get them the victory. So I thought his contribution should have given the man of the match again. But up to New York now, that week in New York is doing something. And I think India is going to be too much, as Red said. India is going to be too much. Either way, I think India is going to be too much for them. India, the batting is much better. The bowling is better. They field well. And regardless of what happened, I think India are going to come to victors in that game.
Yeah.
And the Pakistani confidence should be rocked a little bit. They should be rocked. Disorganized in the last part of the game yesterday, and when they came out, I didn't know what they did, but they just didn't look organized at all when they came out, for that final. Their confidence is totally rocked now. So going against India now, it's going to be real trouble. And these two teams is always a serious fight against them. Serious. Both of them play. So it is going to be the match of the tournament.
If possible, will be. Don't need. I don't think Pakistan need much motivation going into this game because we know this is arguably the biggest rivalry in sport. So we know what it will bring. We hope to see a good game. We hope the pitch evens out and it's a good game. So let's see what will happen. We have brilliant cricket to watch later on in that Afghanistan New Zealand game, and the weekend is packed with excitement. We have the England Australia rivalry. We have the India Pakistan rivalry. So it should be exciting. Any last words before we close?
Well, let's remind our audience that India and Pakistan were one nation up to 1947.
Yes.
They were one nation.
And now they're bitter rivals.
Bitter rivals now.
Oh.
There is a border issue, so it's always very contentious. But here's hoping that the game will be played in the right spirit and we'll have a quality game. Lawrence, one question before you go. When last you picked up a bat, not at home, and walked into the middle and take guard?
I did it January this year at my foundation at the event. I did it. Played in the game at the stadium, and I made 16 knockouts. Can you believe it? Opening the batting.
6-0.
Knockout, I retired. 16, 1-6. That was a big score for me.
1-6.
That is big stuff for me. I actually surprised myself. Yeah, actually surprised myself. But the weekend seems to be, the weekend should be nice. It have good stuff coming. Hopefully, guys can get it and we can bring home this thing. It would be lovely. West Indies could bring it home. My heart is with them. But, I just don't like how they are doing things at the moment. But hopefully they'll get it right. They have a fairly reasonable good team. So, and they can compete with anybody. So hopefully we'll put it all together and can take the title.
They have to have a clinical win against Uganda. They have to get everything right, dot all the boxes, a clear-cut win.
We have a whoever we don't get down to teams that we play against, especially when we are below us, we tend down to them.
That's true.
All right. So thank you guys very much.
Take them out, yeah.
As we look to close, we are excited about the weekend. We are excited about later, and what it holds for this World Cup. Exciting, going ahead. Please join us next time, for exclusive insight in the analysis of all these games. And I just want to implore our viewers, if you have not yet subscribed, please like, share, and subscribe to BIFF Cricket. Thanks again, Yaga Rowe, Lawrence Yaga Rowe, and Joseph Reds Perriera. Please join us again next time.
Great talking to you, Yaga.
Come on, thanks
All
for
right.
having me. Nice seeing you,
All right.
Reds. Nice seeing you.
All right.